This video is about having a great cup of coffee by using the right equipment in your cafe or your home setup. We're gonna accelerate the gears gradually. So this is gonna be a two-part video. In the first part, it's just gonna be about what it is, how it is to be used, how it is not to be used, the pros, the cons. Second part is all going to be about technically actually using it and trying to put it to use as well. So the equipment that in question is a refractometer. A refractometer is something that basically refracts the light. It measures the light which passes from air through water. How much it refracts, that's all this refractometer does. So it would basically tell you how much the light bends and it would give you a number. A refractometer looks like this. When you put a liquid in that on the screen, it'll start blinking, start throwing light, and it would give you a number in percentage. Now this number is the TDS percent, that is total dissolved solids, right? Now in a cafe setup, or if I want to measure how much of extraction yield have I gotten from a particular espresso or a particular pour over or an AeroPress or whatever brewing technique, how much of extraction yield have I done, I would start using a refractometer. A refractometer does not show what has been extracted. It shows how much has been extracted as a percentage. All right. So extraction yield percentage is what I want to find out. TDS percent multiplied by brewed coffee in grams divided by the dosage in grams. Essentially speaking, if I have a refractometer or if I brewed a coffee, I put a drop of that coffee, without milk of course, of that espresso on the refractometer light. It'll start pushing some light, it'll bend the light, it'll show the percentage, and now with that percentage I can find out what is my extraction yield from this coffee. So I will take that number, the percentage, multiplied by the brewed coffee in grams and divided by the dosage that I had used in the coffee. That will give me another percentage, and that is going to be my extraction yield percentage. Now how to change this extraction yield, how to use this extraction yield to your advantage, and how to work with the variables. So to understand the variables, we've done a video earlier. Please go down to that video. We'll also put up a link. Make sure you watch that so that you get the base clear and then you move this. This is, I would say, a level up for anybody who's brewing coffee and anybody who wants to be in coffee. This is a level up video. So that's why we've divided into two parts. Let's talk about how to use and where all can you use a refractometer. Now, as a roaster, if you get a new coffee, you can start using that to understand and gauge how much you can change and what you can change to get a good reading. All right. One big disclaimer is that the TDS readings are not the whole and soul criteria. It is your taste and your tongue that will tell you, nose and your tongue that will tell you. So even if your extraction yield percentage with that formula entire comes up to be like really high, it need not be a conversation that, hey, you know what, this is a better extraction, so it will taste better. It's not that. It is not that. It is just a number that can support your conversation about it. All right. So do not take these two individually, like your taste and your extraction meters readings individually. Take it combined. Now, how to use it? So as a roaster, as I said, like you get a new coffee, you'll start brewing it, you'll start pulling out some shots, some espressos, and you start reading those numbers and understand, okay, this has got this potential, how much of the coffee. So taste it and then see the number. All right. How to see the number, we'll go in the next video. As a cafe owner, if you have multiple outlets, this device is just beautiful. It is one of the most beautiful equipments. It'll be easier to use this if you have all the equipments, water and coffee the same. All right. So to have a standard, like if I have 10 cafes and if I am sitting in my office and if I just give a call and tell them, give me a refractometer reading, and everybody has got a refractometer reading, or I go to each 10 cafes, my grinder, espresso machine, water and coffee and all these variables should be the same. then it will be easier for me to compare. If my espresso machine or one of the elements is different, it will be a little tricky for me to find out. So you can still work on that, but it'll be a little difficult. So primarily you can have like 10 cafes with the exact same setup, same water, same everything, and you can use this device to make the most of it and bring consistency in your all 10 cafes. All right, as a person who wants to get better in coffee, you can start tasting the coffee, and you can start taking out the numbers later on, and then see what is the extraction yield. If it is under extracted and your tasting notes are the same, or if it is over extracted and your tasting notes are the same, it'll make you a better taster. Refractometer is not limited only to coffee industry. There are a lot of refractometers in other industries. I would love to hear that in the comment section. You can share some links of the videos also. I would love to watch that. Now, coming to the pros and cons of a refractometer. Let's talk about the cons. First of all, it's expensive. It comes at a cost, but I don't think so it's that much of a cost, because the coffee equipments in itself are going super high. So you can always, this could be one of the part of it. Second point of cons is that you need a very knowledgeable person working on that refractometer. Not single step can be missed out, right? You snooze, you lose. It's kind of that situation, and refractometer is the best example for that. So that is second point, but that's not the refractometer's problem. Third, I would say, is it takes a little bit of time. It takes like good, if you're super efficient, you can do it in 15 minutes and find out and calibrate and everything, but initially it will take some time for you to go through all the steps. You'll see in the next video how a refractometer is used. So it does take considerable amount of time and a little bit of space and focus. So that is there. But apart from that, I couldn't find out any other negative pointers for the refractometer. How it is used, there's one point which is a negative one. A lot of people would start using it that, hey, you know what, this is the whole and soul quantity or whole and soul indicator of a good coffee because the number is good. Doesn't work like that. More often than not, it will give you a good number, but you cannot take it individually, as I said earlier. Pros. Oh, a lot of pros. You can have consistency throughout a cafe by this small equipment. You need to put in a lot of efforts, a lot of work for sure, but that's given. Second, it gives you a very good number to play with and to understand where do you stand in the tasting. How good are you as a taster? Now again, let me put one more point. There are a lot of under extracted coffees which would taste okay. There are a lot of over extracted coffees which still would taste okay, but there are a lot of good sweet spot coffees which do not taste as good. So keep that in mind always. Yeah, as a roaster, when you're working with new coffee, it will give you a very, very good advantage to have a refractometer to find out what are the extraction readings on this and how much more you can push it by changing the variable. So we'll go through that also, that if your coffee is under extracted, how do you push it to a higher extraction. We'll go into that. Probably that will be the third part of the video. Yeah, you can actually also calibrate your roast profiles with that. All right, so you can have a color meter, you can have all these things, but you can also have a refractometer by which you can calibrate your profile. So if I've got a roaster 5 kg over here, I've got the same roaster somewhere else, let's say I do a clever drip on both of them and I take out the readings, I see the extraction meter readings and all, I could kind of gauge what is under extracted and which is not, and I can go back to the crop store profile and check out which stage of the coffee went kind of wrong and then correct that. For somebody who's watching it for the first time, all these things, all these jargons are going to be a little tricky. Go through our previous videos. They are all simple, easy, vanilla, basic. You will catch on to this. It's not too complicated, trust me. We will start using refractometer at Corridor also very, very soon. We've been using it on and off, but now with a consistent approach, we'll start doing that. But it should be like a 6-month program, or else you're just putting too much pressure on the systems. So the next video is going to be about how exactly you use a refractometer. Meanwhile, watch up a lot of videos if you can, and please hit share, like, subscribe, and we would love to see you in the next video. Thank you.